Hi guys, it's Debbie with Kip's Corner. Welcome back. Today I'm going to show you how I make my page book pockets from pages. I don't know what you call them. Anyway, I start out with a page from an old book and do a little folding and some washi and some scraps and tear and cut and voila, and sew at the end too. So I want to show you how I do this. Here's one that I've already got made. Here's another I can show you as a sneak peek for a journal that I'm going to be flipping through. I'll post the video next Saturday morning. So there's a little sneak peek. It has a card that slips right in. So there you go. So let's make one or two, or actually I think I've got 3 ready to make here. So these 4, I pulled a page from 4 different books that I've got that I use specifically for my journals. This is a shorthand. This is from The Prince, and this is from an Insects and Foes and Friends book. So basically what I've done to start off with is I've just trimmed the page down and adhered it to just a piece of like a craft cardstock using Fabri-Tac. I went ahead and did that just so that we could be ahead of the game a little bit. Next, I create a score, which I will go ahead and do on this one because I haven't done that yet. My little tiny, very well-loved baby scoreboard here. I'm going to score this. It doesn't matter how deep you make your pocket. You can make it however deep you want. Okay, so I'm just going to give that a little score. And actually, I want that a little higher. Didn't measure that very well. Measuring is not my forte. So let's put another little score in there. Just a tiny bit further in, like that. So see, I'm already starting off well, aren't I? I'm going to be covering up the bottom part, so it's okay that it has an extra little piece down there. All right, that ought to do it. Okay, score that down, and if I don't, I'm just not very good at this whole tutorial thing, or craft with me, or whatever you want to call this, but bear with me. Okay, there you go. There you have it. I just score and fold it up, and it just depends on your book page where you want that score to be. Next step will be to ink up the edges, and let's go ahead and get that done. Actually, I take that back. I'm going to round this corner. And I'm going to round this one with just a little notch. And I'll have to go back and do that again later after I add there we go. All right, now let's ink her up just a little bit. And I promise I won't spend my entire time inking here. I did pre-ink a couple of these other ones, but I do want to walk through the whole process so that you can see what I've done. You can tell here on the edge this book page is really old. That's okay. That adds some charm to it. So I'll just kind of pull some of that off there and go back over it. Okay. And I'm going to leave, I'm not going to mess with inking that bottom flap yet. Okay. The next step, the next thing I'm going to do, so on this one I've scored it and I've done the inking and I've added, this is actually a piece of Tim Holtz wallpaper pieces. I've added to the bottom of that one. This one is a deeper pocket, so the depth of your pocket doesn't really matter. However, you know, whatever you want to do, however much of the book page you want to cover up. If you have an idea of what you want to do to the top of it, that might help you decide how deep to go, or to the bottom of it for that matter. And this just has a piece of scrap paper added to the bottom of it. So on this one, let's go ahead and get this out of the way. I've got some of my scraps and things here. Got a piece of this scrap paper that I've got left over from, I don't know what. This is actually from Stamperia stamp pad. And I'm thinking that I might like that. Or, yeah, I like this. So I'm just gonna kind of eyeball that, put that on there, get it straight on two of the sides, and then I'll trim it down. So my glue of preference is Fabri-Tac. Oh, I like that side too. Oh, now see, now I don't know. What do you think? That side or that side? Let's go with this side. Let's do that. Anyway, I started to say, sorry, I get distracted easy. Squirrel. My glue of choice is Fabri-Tac. I prefer it. I like the way it dries. I like the way it goes down. I like the way it stays once it gets there. I just like everything about it. Other than the smell, but that's not the end of the world. All right. Make sure I've got that straight, and I don't. Okay. And I also like that if you ooze out a little bit, all you gotta do is give it a little rub. And it rubs right off. Reminds me a little bit of the olden days of, oh, just oozed all over the place, didn't it? I tend to use too much glue, which is another reason why I actually like Fabri-Tac, because it does rub right off when you ooze out. So there we go. So I'm just going to trim this up now. And I do not typically cut in a straight line, but since I have that fold there, it's kind of helping me along. And then I'm going to go back in and I'm going to go ahead and redo my corner here. Guess I could have saved myself a punch and just done it once, but that's okay. All right, and pardon my arm for reaching. And now I just need to get some ink around the edges. I ink everything. I like that it creates a frame, sort of a finished touch. And when you're using paper on top, it gets rid of the white edge as well. So I am a huge fan of inking. And I like to blend it in to the middle, just so that there's not any hard edges, like so. Okay, that part's done. All right, I don't fold or don't glue the flap shut just yet. I will kind of do that at the end, and I do that for a reason, and I think you'll see why here in just a minute. So I've got 3 now, and I'm gonna start playing with adding some stuff. I've got some washi here and some scraps and pieces. On one of these, which one, she says, as she makes lots of noise. I want to, here, let's set these aside. We'll come back to those later. And I've got some pieces that I already inked, yay. They've kind of got here that I want to play with a little bit. I think I'm going to put this is a piece of scrap scrapbook paper, a scrap of scrap, a scrap of scrapbook paper. And we're going to put that one right, no, we're going to put this one on first, I think. Yes, I like that. So, because I will not remember where I had that. Oh, yeah, oh, I've got an S. Okay, I'm going to cover up the S. I can remember that, I think. We'll see. I'm at the end of my Fabri-Tac, which is not a fun place to be. It gets a little gloppy. But I will try to prevent it from oozing out on me. And I was just covering that S. Not an exact science here, but you can see one of the reasons I like to keep that flap open. The nice thing too, if you kind of run over your pieces once you've glued them with a bone folder, it sort of smushes that glue in there. Smushes it out in some cases. Just kind of, again, just rub it off. And that's gonna work. All right. Then this piece I'm going to put on the end. Yep, I oozed out a little bit. Oh, well, I'll clean that up later. There's a reason why I don't do very many tutorials. It's because I'm not very good at it. Oh well. So how is everyone doing? Oh, I've got dogs growling at each other over here. Grumpy guys. Grumpy, grumpy, grumpy. Okay. I like the way that looks. Just kind of give it a squish down. There you go. Rub that off a little bit. And we have some pieces laid down. All right, again with the corner. I think that's the medium one. Actually, I think it's the small one. This corner rounder that I'm using has 3 sizes. Whoops, a small, medium, and large. It's called, oh, I'm not gonna be able to pronounce it. Katomaru Pro. Love it. I've had it just for a little while and am in love with it. Okay, there we go. Now I've got some pieces here that I want to play. Oh, I'm going to put some down here as well. So I'm thinking something along those lines. So let's do that real quick. Get that on there and trimmed up. And then I've got some cheesecloth cut here. And I've got a little circle. Gotta tell you what happened. I ordered this book. I'd seen somebody use it and I found a copy of it. Beautiful little book. Now I don't even remember the name of it. Anyway, when the postman delivered it, it was a rainy day. And when he delivered it, or she, I don't know which, it was just left on my doorstep with no protection. And I think when the postman was here, it wasn't raining, but by the time I got home from work, of course it was. Anyway, it's that time of year. So the book got sopping wet. And was ruined. So what I did is I just tried to dry it out and let it sort of spread it all out and just let it air out for a couple days, and it just never really dried. It just never really dried. And so I went in and cut it up so I could get the pieces dried off, or at least salvage some of it, and get something out of it. That is not gonna, oh, tight squeeze. And ended up punching some hole or some circles. I can't do two things at once. I can't talk and all right, there we go. And that's what this is. So this is an illustration from, am I in camera? Yep, this is an illustration from the book. And I just circle punched it out, put a little ink on the edge, and now I have this ready to use here for this little, what did I decide to call them? Book page pockets. That's it. Did I say that earlier? Book page pockets. Oh, mio mio, don't mind me. It's Saturday night and it's kind of late. And I'm gonna plop that right there. If I can get it on there straight. Yeah. Yeah, that works. Okay. Here we go. Okay. Now I'm thinking that I want this guy up here. I think he kind of goes at a little bit of an angle, like so. Let's get that cheesecloth down there a little bit further. Yeah. Put that. Oh my! See, looky there. I just have a mess, don't I? Let me wipe that off a little bit. Okay, that's better. I'm gonna just put a little dabble-do-ya here in the middle. Get that cheesecloth in there. I think I wanted that to be more like that. Okay, and now let's put this guy on. Okay, and he goes, let's put him at a little bit of an angle. How about right, a little bit higher, a little bit higher. How about right there? There we go. Give it a little scoosh. There we go. Some of that loose cheesecloth off of there. Okay, there we go. Now I can call this done, or I can play with maybe a little bit of washi. I think this one. This is one of my favorites. It's actually almost gone. I use it a lot. When I use washi, I usually give it a little bit of a glue. And gee, here we go. All right, so let's see. I don't know. Maybe a little piece up there in the corner. Let's tear that at a better angle, at a little bit of angle. How's that? Maybe a little piece here. I'm gonna glue. So this is, what is this called? Cosmic Shimmer. I like this glue because it has a little pointy. I can kind of just dot some little bit of glue on here. And it also dries really fast. So let's put that right there. Yeah, and I will trim that off. There we go. That works. And do we want another piece? This is a Tim Holtz washi. Maybe we do. We'll see what we think about that. Let's do a rip at an angle on that one too. And yeah, I think I like that. So I'm gonna put a couple dots of this on there. I just don't trust washi tape by itself. It's made to be removable. There, I like that. So far, so good. And I think I want to run some washi up this side. We'll just put glue. See, I just got done saying use glue, and I just about put that down without any. Don't mind me. Do as I say, not as I do. I was gonna put a couple little dots on here. And see if I can get this on here without not straight. Get it on there straight. Goodness gracious. There we go. That's probably still not straight. Okay. Yeah, I'm all right with that. And let's follow the theme and put a little piece of blue up there with it. And glue, 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 glue. Now let's do it this way. There, how's that? This is a page from an old Greg shorthand book. See, Greg. And I love it because I love the squiggly lines. There, how's that? I feel like we need something here. I don't know. Let's see. I've got a couple. Maybe a circle and circle. Meh. How about it? Here's a little. That gets a little lost, maybe. Oh, I don't know. I think I can deal with that. Let's see. Let's put a little bit of cheesecloth behind it and see what that looks like. Let's see. I don't need much. Maybe, let's turn that over. Maybe it's like that. Come on now, cooperate. Maybe it's like that. That's kind of cute. All right. Let me, I was just sitting on my foot, so now let me rearrange myself here. Foot's falling asleep. Did I mention that I ink everything? I think I did. I ink everything. I just do. I know not everybody likes that look. That's cute. It's a little tiny little letter. I'm gonna use this same glue just because this is a small enough piece. Get up to the edges. And I don't really need to glue the cheesecloth. Oh, maybe I should use the fabric tip. One of the things about these white glues is that your piece gets, it's too much moisture. And the piece tends to get a little wobbly and warbly. There we go. Okay, what do you think? Call it done. On this other one, and most of them, you can see I've got stitching, crooked stitching and goofy stitching, and I do like to finish them off with that, but I think what I'll do is just go ahead and close this one up and call this one done, and I will stitch off camera and show them to you when I'm done. I also tended to do, and I will show you that later too, I watered down gesso and sprinkle splats on it. I think it's a nice way to sort of pull it all together. You can see again on here the little white splatters. That's watered gesso, and I will show you how I do that too. Well, let's get another one done. There we go. And other than the stitching and the gesso, we're going to call that one done. So let me set that one aside. And let's move to this one. Now in this one, I've got some, instead of washi, or maybe with washi, I've got a piece of lace here. Okay, let's see what we're going to do up here. Up here, we're going to kind of do something like this. I played with this a little earlier. Something like that, maybe. Yeah. And then I've got this bird, and I'm going to put, instead of him being at the top, I'm going to put him down at the bottom. Again, this is another one of the pieces from the book where I kind of cut up the pages in order for them to dry. And let me see, do I like that? Do I? That's kind of cute. Not sure if I like it. That's the hardest part about this for me, is just determining what I like and what I don't like. And again, a little bit gets off to the side, just rub it off. Although I would caution you, these book pages, the ones, this particular one anyway, you can kind of tell by, I mean, look at this tape. Isn't that awesome? It's a shame that I'm covering it up. But you can also tell by, if you look where I put my score line, this paper is just disintegrating. Just like, you can't look at it. It's gonna go if you look at it. And if you touch it, it's gonna go twice as fast. So don't touch. So yeah, so if you're rubbing something like glue or wiping glue off or something like that, you probably, if you're using really, really old book pages, you just want to be careful. Lid. See, now I'm knocking things over. I think I'm off camera. I'm throwing my lid and my glue. Just throwing things. Okay. Now, if I cut that straight, it should line up right there on the corner. Yep, it does. I'll kind of just go over this a little bit. See if we got any glue oozing out of the side. Nope. All right. You see, this doesn't matter. It's going to get hidden. So I'm not worried about, you know, the paper down at the bottom below the fold. I'm just concerned about the way this works together up above the fold. So let's chop that corner. Get rid of the white edge. And that's looking okay. What did I say I was going to do? Oh, yeah. I'm going to put this little guy down here. Again, just with the inking. It's a thing. Inking. Ink, 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 ink. And I am going to use the Fabri-Tac on it's actually, yeah, Fabri-Tac. There's a couple different glues made by the same company with different names, and it's kind of all the same stuff. And I just read on one of my Facebook pages a little pointer. That glue comes with a like a foil kind of lining, you know, before when you open it, you have to take the foil off, kind of like, you know, creamer. Anyway, somebody on one of my Facebook groups, and I apologize, I don't remember who it was, said that if you leave the foil on, but just poke a hole in the top, apparently that's a game changer, and it doesn't do the oozy thing, the oozy out thing. So I'm going to try that. I've got a new one. This one's close to being empty. I've got a new one. I'm going to give her a try. I do not need that much, so we'll save that scrap for later. But I want this gray piece here to be on the envelope. So I think what I'm going to do is glue this down, and then I will trim it off. Okay. I don't know. I think it was straight and now it's crooked. Or maybe it never was straight. Okay, don't obsess. I'm gonna glue this guy down. And then I gotta decide whether or not I wanna put some washi. Does anybody call it, is it wash or wash? Washi? Washi? I'm from Missouri, and I don't think I say it the way some people do here in the area. Okay, there. Okay. Now as I ooze this around, look, that the fabric is still... You're going to watch this and you're going to be like, how does this person get anything done? There. Do we like it? I definitely want to do some sewing on this. And I'm afraid, actually, I don't want to put anything else on it. Because I'm afraid it will get to be too much. So we're going to stop there. We're going to stop there. Let's zip up the sides here and call that one quits, except for the sewing. Maybe what I'll do is put a little bit extra sewing on it. You know, go around and do some crazies. We'll see. But I don't like them plain, but I don't like them overdone either. I think in a lot of cases, it's easy to get carried away and just keep going and going and going. But I think the thing to remember is that sometimes less is more. Sometimes you can get too much on them and you can get them too busy. And this one might be kind of hitting the verge there of that too busy. Another rule to sort of help for those of you who might be interested is the rule of three. The rule of three, I don't remember what the exact rule is, but basically in a nutshell, it's something like when things are presented in threes, they're more interesting to the human eye. So, and I actually strive to keep my embellishments to odd numbers. So there's 3 pieces down here at the bottom. There's 2 more up here. That's 5. That's an odd number. There we go. there we go. We're gonna call that one almost done. We just need to do some sewing. Okay, let's go back to this one. So we put that cute little bottom on there. The nice thing about this one is that it has this T with, I'm assuming that's a honeybee since it says chapter 12, the honeybee. And I've got some pieces kind of set aside here and cut and trimmed. By George, I think I've got it. Okay, let's try that. Let's try that. Okay, so we're gonna put this guy, we're gonna run next to those two O's. Not sure what's going on over here with the Rubby Rugs. I think it's social hour outside, and so we have some conversation going on outside with the dogs. And I have 4. Well, I don't have 4. I have 2. I have 2 border collies. They are my loves. What'd I say? O's. Which O's? Oh, here we go. These O's. These O's. And my daughter has 2 dogs, and she is currently here, so there are 4 of them all together. All together now. But only one of them is making noise right now. See, there's my ooey gooey. Just rub it off. Fabri-Tac rubs right off. It's kind of like, I said that already, didn't I? Is it like, does anybody remember rubber cement? It's kind of like that. Kind of, sort of. And it definitely smells a little bit like rubber cement did too, or at least what I remember of rubber cement. But it doesn't, I don't know. I guess it's very similar properties. Anyway, enough about that. I'm throwing my glue again. Sorry. Nope, I'm not going to apologize for being a glue thrower. See, here's the problem. Am I in camera? No. Sorry. Here's the problem with when you've got this big you kind of already have a little bit of a focal point here. And so if I do anything else down here, I want to, I kind of want to offset them. That's not bad. Well, let's do this. Let's get this on here. There. I'll go back and there. There. How's that? Yeah, okay. We're going to call that one quits as well. Don't know if I'll sew on this one. Well, actually, I think I will. I think I'll just run a little stitch here maybe and sort of stop there. I will, let me glue this, and then I will pause the video and then do some sewing and then come back. Because I've got these other ones that I definitely want to sew on a couple of those. So we'll see. And my sewing machine, by the way, is not, it's a little tiny, I don't know, $40, like little girl's sewing machine. It's not really a real sewing machine, but it sews, and it sews paper. It sews well. So if you're going to do these kinds of things and you want to do things like sew paper, you don't have to have a really, really, really awesome, great machine. I'm proof. And I got too much glue on there. I'm oozing. I'm oozing. Did I mention that I always use too much glue? You'd think I'd learn by now. And then it gets on my hands, and then I make a mess. And it gets all over the place. I am not a neat crafter. I admire anybody who is. I think they're not real. No, I'm kidding. but I am persnickety about things like glue sticking out and my edges. I want my edges down. I mean, unless I'm doing something like this where the butterfly is got a little dimension to him. And so, or like this where it's fabric, that's okay. Actually, I kind of want that to tuck. I want that to lay down right there. Just something about it not laying down that drives me. I might, ooh. Let's see if this works. I can put a little tiny dab right there, just so he lays down. See, there. I like that better. I just do. Just like that better. Okay, I think we're gonna call this one done. So we've got 3 that we made. They're all a little different, but yet similar idea and similar thought process behind using some torn pieces of paper on top of the book page, folding up the book page. All of them are backed with cardstock, so there's some heft to these. So you could glue them into a journal, or you could just clip them in, or you could just slip them in. Whatever you wanted to do. The depth of the pocket is different on all of them and not an issue. Again, totally up to you. There is not a right or wrong way to do any of this, other than maybe with all the glue. That might be wrong. But really it's up to you. However you want these to look, whatever colors you want to use, the whole 9 yards. So I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to go do a little bit of sewing on my cheap little machine, and I will be back and show you the finished product. Okay, I'm back. I've got some sewing done on these, just some ziggies and some straight lines. This one I sewed all the way around. But this one I just did some zigzags here on the edge and down here, but didn't sew anywhere else. And this one I just sewed kind of from here and up the side and then stopped and didn't do any sewing around here. So now I'm going to put my splatters on. And the way I do this, let's do one at a time. Yes, let's do one at a time. I've got, I don't know if it's on camera, up here is just a glob of white gesso. I'm going to add some water to that and get it nice and wet and watery and runny. And I'm using a fan brush, and I think that just sort of gives it a little bit wider spread to do your splashes. I don't want splashes really on my bird here. I want him to remain intact without splatter, but I want the splashes everywhere else. So I just realized there's a horrible glare right there. Let me see if I can find a piece of paper. Oh, well. Oh, see, I'm dripping. I'm dripping. Okay, so I just take my brush, get lots of stuff on it, cover my birdie or whatever, and just tap. Just tap. And sometimes you have to turn the brush around a little bit. And that's more than enough. And now I gently remove that. And I did get a little on him, but not so much that I'm unhappy with it. So there's that. I'll set that aside to dry. And let's lay these down. And we're going to call them all done. And ta-da! So there you have it. That's the way I make my, I think we decided to call them book page pockets. And I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope I wasn't too crazy on you. And here's the one that was already done. Notice real quick before I go, on this one you can see that I added some string on here. That is an extra, just a little extra something that you can do on that. I did not put that on any of these because these 2 circles, for starters, were big enough that I didn't want to try to put anything on. And by the time I got to this one, I kind of felt like you guys might have had enough. So, so we brushed this along just a little bit because it was harder to come up with. So that's it. I will be back very shortly with a flip through of a very special journal that I put together, and that's all I'm going to say. So I will see you then. Thank you for joining me, and if you've enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel. I would love to have you. Thank you. Bye-bye.